The Rambling Mind, Dhammapada Verse 32, The Architecture of Mind. Some mornings I wake up already divided. My body is here, but my mind is somewhere else, chasing unfinished thoughts. Replaying old conversations, reaching for the phone before I even feel my own breath. It feels like scattering, like pieces of me slipping into 100 directions at once. And the strange part is how normal it has become. The Buddha saw this long before our modern noise. In the Dhammapada, he says that one who delights in mindfulness and sees danger in carelessness cannot fall away, but comes very near to peace. I keep returning to that because carelessness today rarely looks dramatic. It looks like distraction, avoidance, endless motion. Maybe that is the real danger, not that life overwhelms me, but that I forget I am living it. So for a little while, sit here with me. Let us trace this pattern together and see what it has been trying to show us. The weight of small habits. You wake into a world already moving. Before your feet touch the ground, the mind is pulling towards something. A message, a thought, a memory, a worry. It happens so quickly that you hardly notice the movement. Yet beneath it, there is a subtle tightening, like a fist closing in the chest. The Buddha saw this long before screens and notifications. He saw that the mind leans toward distraction not because it is weak, but because it fears stillness. Negligence rarely looks dangerous at first. It feels harmless, like one more scroll, one more complaint, one more moment of avoidance. But these small moments gather like drops filling a jar. The Dhammapada speaks of this clearly in verse 32. The one who delights in mindfulness and sees danger in carelessness cannot easily fall away. Not because they are stronger than life, but because they are awake to its currents. Like a river carving stone through steady movement. Your life is shaped by what you repeatedly return to. Mindfulness is not grand. It begins in the unnoticed choices. The quiet drift. The mind drifts the way leaves drift on water, silently, without resistance. One thought leads to another, and before long you are far from where you began. This is how restlessness works. It does not announce itself. It carries you away in familiar loops, planning, replaying, comparing. The Buddha called this heedlessness. Not evil, not failure, just forgetting. Forgetting where you are. Forgetting what matters. Forgetting the cost of unconscious living. In modern life, this forgetting has become almost normal. You can lose hours in distraction and call it relaxation. You can carry resentment for years and call it justice. Yet beneath these patterns, the body keeps score. Tight shoulders, shallow breath, heavy eyes. The system stays alert as if danger never left. Mindfulness interrupts this drift. It is the hand touching the water and realizing the current. In that moment, something changes. Not the river, but your relationship to it. This is the first return. The simplicity of enough. Thera Nigamavasitissa lived quietly. He took only what he needed, walking to his village for alms, never chasing grand offerings. Others misunderstood him. They thought simplicity was attachment. But the Buddha saw something deeper, contentment. The modern mind struggles with enough. Enough money, enough praise, enough success. The horizon keeps moving. Each achievement becomes another beginning of hunger. This is not ambition alone, but a deeper unease, the feeling that something essential is missing. Yet look at a tree in winter. It does not grasp for spring. It stands with bare branches, rooted in what is. There is dignity in this stillness. To live with few wants is not deprivation. It is freedom from endless negotiation with life. When you stop demanding more from every moment, you discover how much is already here. A meal, a breath, a place to rest. The ordinary becomes sufficient. The nervous system softens. Contentment is not giving up. It is stepping out of the race that never ends. The fear hidden in excess. Why do you keep reaching? Why does the hand open the phone again, the mouth speak again, the mind rehearse again? Often it is fear. Fear of emptiness, fear of insignificance, fear of facing what lies underneath. Negligence is not random. It protects discomfort by keeping you occupied. The Buddha understood this. He saw how the mind creates movement to avoid pain. Like wind stirring dust so the ground cannot be seen, constant activity keeps deeper truths hidden. But mindfulness is different. It settles the dust. It allows you to see the shape of your suffering without running from it. This can feel unsettling at first. Like entering a dark room and waiting for your eyes to adjust. But in that pause, the nervous system learns something new. That discomfort can be held. That pain can be known without collapse. Seeing danger and negligence means seeing what avoidance costs you. The energy it drains, the years it steals. Awareness is the courage to stop moving long enough to understand. The Parrot and the Withered Tree. The story of the Parrot King reveals something rare. When the tree had no fruit left, every other bird flew away. Only the king remained. He was content with bark, leaves, and whatever little was left. Not from helplessness, but from gratitude. The mind today is trained for constant replacement. If something loses value, leave it. If a person no longer excites you, move on. If a moment feels dull, escape it. But gratitude changes perception. It slows the reflex to discard. Imagine an old chair by the window, worn from years of use. It no longer shines, but it has held you through storms. Not as an object to exploit, but as a companion in life. Mindfulness restores this vision. It reveals relationship where greed sees only utility. When you live like this, less becomes enough because appreciation deepens. You stop consuming life and begin participating in it. The cost of comparison. Comparison is one of the quiet poisons of this age. It slips into the mind unnoticed. Someone else seems happier, richer, wiser, more fulfilled. Instantly the body contracts. A small heat rises and peace is disturbed. The Buddha understood this as craving mixed with identity. Not wanting what is needed, but wanting to be someone else. This creates endless mental strain. The self becomes a project under constant review. Social media has sharpened this habit into reflex. Every image becomes a mirror of lack. But mountains do not compare themselves to rivers. The moon does not envy the sun. Each thing fulfills its nature without argument. Mindfulness reveals the absurdity of comparison. It shows that each mind carries invisible burdens. What you envy may contain suffering you cannot see. When you release comparison, energy returns. You no longer spend life measuring. You begin inhabiting. The discipline of returning. Mindfulness is not perfection. It is return, again and again. The mind wanders and you notice. That noticing is the practice. People often imagine spiritual growth as a straight line. But it is more like walking through fog, sometimes clear, sometimes lost. What matters is not never losing the path, but continuing to return. Thera returned to simplicity every day. He did not chase spectacle. His discipline was ordinary. Like tending a small fire, mindfulness survives through care. Ignore it and it fades. Feed it and warmth remains. This is why negligence is dangerous. Not because one mistake ruins everything, but because forgetting becomes habit, and habit becomes character. To return is an act of trust. Trust that awareness is always available. Trust that even after confusion, clarity waits. The Buddha pointed to this not as hope, but as fact. The armor you carry. Many people live inside invisible armor. Defenses built from old wounds, disappointments, betrayals. The armor feels protective, but it is heavy. It shapes how you speak, love, and react. The Buddha saw that much suffering comes from clinging to these defenses. They become identity. You think, this is who I am. But watch water meet rock. It does not resist. It adapts, moves, yields. And over time, it shapes what seemed unmovable. Mindfulness works like water. It softens what force cannot. When anger rises and you watch it instead of obeying it, something loosens. When sadness comes and you let it breathe, something opens. The armor cracks. This does not make you weak. It makes you real. Less protected, yes, but more alive. The danger of negligence is staying armored forever, mistaking numbness for safety. The hunger to become. Even on the spiritual path, the mind can become greedy. It wants enlightenment like another achievement. Another badge, another story to tell. This is a subtle trap. The ego wears wisdom like clothing. The Buddha warned against this without harshness. He saw how striving itself can become agitation. Like chasing the horizon, the more you run, the further it seems. Mindfulness asks something radical. Stop becoming for a moment. Just be. Sit under a tree without turning it into a lesson. Drink tea without optimizing the experience. Walk without trying to arrive somewhere inward. This simplicity dissolves the hunger to become. Freedom is not found by constructing a better self. Often it appears when the construction pauses. When ambition softens and presence deepens. Near nibbana does not mean near a distant reward. It means near the end of unnecessary struggle. The body knows first. Before the mind understands, the body often knows. A clenched jaw, a racing heart, a stomach in knots. These are signals. The body speaks the language of tension long before thought explains it. Yet many ignore these messages. They push through, distract themselves, numb out. This is another form of negligence. Mindfulness begins with listening. A single conscious breath can reveal how scattered you are. A slow exhale can show how tightly you have been holding yourself. Like wind moving through tall grass, awareness moves through the body and reveals hidden patterns. This is not abstract spirituality, it is intimate realism. The Buddha's path begins here, in sensation, in direct experience, not in belief. When you attend to the body with care, the mind follows. The loop slows. The nervous system remembers safety. Clarity grows from the ground up. The strength of few wants. The world praises accumulation. More possessions, more influence, more options. Yet each addition often brings new complexity. Thera showed another way. Few wants, clear mind. There is strength in this. Not the strength of dominance, but of lightness. Think of traveling with only one small bag. Movement becomes easier, choices simpler, attention freer. The same is true inwardly. When you carry fewer desires, the mind becomes spacious. This does not mean rejecting beauty or comfort. It means not depending on them. Mindfulness reveals how much energy craving consumes. Planning, protecting, fearing loss. To want less is to fear less. And when fear lessens, generosity appears naturally. You are no longer defending a fragile pile of needs. This is why simplicity has always been close to freedom. The flame of carefulness. Carefulness is not anxiety. It is love expressed through attention. A careful mind notices the first spark of anger before it becomes fire. It notices fatigue before collapse. It notices harsh words before they leave the mouth. This is what verse 32 points toward, seeing danger in negligence. A forest fire begins with something small, so does peace. Modern culture celebrates speed, but speed often skips wisdom. You react before feeling, decide before seeing, speak before understanding. Mindfulness slows this sequence. Like walking through a dark forest with a lantern, carefulness illuminates each step. You may still stumble, but far less often. This is not caution born from fear. It is intelligence born from awareness. The careful life is not smaller, it is clearer. Near the edge of freedom. The Buddha says such a person is close to nibbana. This can sound distant or mystical, but it points to something immediate. Each moment of non-grasping is a taste of release. Each moment of clear seeing is a crack in the wall of suffering. Freedom is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is simply the absence of the old compulsion. You wanted to react, but did not. You wanted to escape, but stayed. You wanted to cling, but softened. These are sacred shifts, though ordinary. Like ice melting under morning light, the frozen structures of self begin to loosen. This is why mindfulness matters. Not because it makes you special, but because it makes you available to reality. And reality, when met clearly, is less frightening than imagination. The return to gratitude. The parrot stayed because of gratitude. This simple loyalty revealed immense wisdom. Gratitude interrupts greed. It reminds you that life is not owed to you. It is given moment by moment. The breath arrives unasked. The sun rises without permission. The body, despite its pain, carries you. When mindfulness deepens, gratitude follows naturally, not forced, but recognized. Like rain touching dry earth, gratitude softens the hardened mind. It becomes harder to waste your life when you feel its gift. Negligence fades because presence feels precious. This is the quiet transformation. Not dramatic enlightenment, but a gentle reordering of values. What once seemed ordinary becomes luminous. The nearness of peace. In the end, the Buddha's teaching is disarmingly simple. Stay awake. Return often. See clearly. Want little. Be grateful. Thera Nigamavasitissa did not reach freedom through grand acts. He stayed close to the ordinary with full awareness. This was enough. You do not need to escape your life to practice this. The doorway is here, in the next breath, the next pause, the next choice not to drift. Like a lake settling after wind. The mind becomes clear when left undisturbed by craving and carelessness. And in that stillness, something ancient becomes visible. Not a new truth, but one that was always there. Freedom does not arise because life becomes perfect. It arises because you stop demanding perfection from life. This is the nearness of peace, not far away, not hidden, but waiting in the simple act of seeing clearly and moving gently with what is. This is Buddha Reflections, where philosophy, insight, and lived experience meet to explore mind, impermanence, and release. The conversation doesn't end here. Visit the quiz tab and share your score in the comments. Thanks for your time, it's been a delight. What should we explore next? Comment, share, and save your insight. Subscribe to Orbital Dharma and keep your thoughts bright.